The story opens with a striking image of the Xylarian throne world, a planet renowned throughout the galaxy for its alien opulence and grandeur. Its architecture is almost impossible to describe with human terms. Crystalline spires soar into the sky, refracting light in hundreds of hues, while polished obsidian floors reflect both the colors and the figures walking upon them. The throne hall itself is immense, a cathedral-like structure, with vaulted ceilings that seem to stretch into infinity, adorned with alien glyphs that pulse faintly with energy. The scene establishes the cultural and political superiority of the Xylarians, giving the audience an immediate sense of tension. Humans are, at first glance, vastly outmatched in power, technology, and influence. At the center of this hall, the human protagonist stands alone. The contrast between him and the grandeur of the Xylarian court is deliberate. He is physically smaller, less ornamented, and entirely unarmed by alien standards. Yet, his posture radiates confidence. He does not cower or display fear. Instead, his hands are clasped calmly behind his back, and his gaze is steady. This introduction immediately frames him as an archetype of human defiance and establishes the first key. HFY theme. Humans may be underestimated by the galaxy, but their courage, moral clarity, and resilience make them formidable in unexpected ways. The story quickly introduces the source of conflict, the Xylarian queen and her daughter. The queen herself is depicted as a figure of immense authority, her 6 arms adorned with jeweled bracelets symbolizing power, status, and a long lineage of rulership. Her eyes, luminescent and penetrating, scan the room and settle on the human with a mix of curiosity and fury. It is immediately clear that this is not a simple social encounter. The stakes are cosmic, involving political alliances, cultural pride, and family honor. The queen's voice dominates the hall, amplified not by technology but seemingly by her sheer presence. Shaking the courtiers and echoing off the crystalline walls, her opening line, "You refuse my daughter?" immediately establishes the tension. This is not a polite negotiation or a diplomatic discussion. It is an ultimatum. In the Xylarian cultural context, marriage arrangements, especially involving a royal, are political instruments. Refusal is not merely personal, it is an affront to the empire, challenge to authority, and a potential cause of interstellar conflict. The human's refusal is therefore shocking, not because it is rude, but because it defies the entire socio-political structure of the Xylarians. The human responds simply, with a calm nod and the single word "I do." The elegance of his refusal lies in its simplicity. He does not beg, excuse, or apologize. He asserts his moral stance. The story emphasizes that humans, unlike the Xylarians, operate on principles rather than social expectation or fear of authority. This moment is critical. It sets up the narrative contrast between Xylarian coercion and human choice, establishing the story's HFY core human values, morality, and freedom can challenge even the most dominant alien cultures. The queen demands an explanation, and the human delivers one. He refuses her daughter not out of disrespect, but because he believes that love, respect, and personal choice cannot be commanded. By stating that the princess is free to choose, but he will not submit to forced arrangements. He introduces a revolutionary concept to the Xylarians: equality in interpersonal relationships. To them, social hierarchy and obedience are foundational. So this idea is both shocking and intellectually destabilizing. Murmurs ripple through the court. Some courtiers whisper disbelief. Others, faintly admiration. Even in their rigid authoritarian society, the human's courage is forcing them to reconsider what strength truly means. The queen's fury contrasted with her advisor's dawning recognition of something extraordinary underscores the story's central theme. Human ingenuity and morality are powerful in ways that brute strength cannot match. Following the humans' bold refusal of the alien queen's daughter, the tension in the throne room escalates to a tangible intensity. The hall, which moments ago echoed with whispers of disbelief and murmurs of admiration, thrums with anticipation and restrained fury. The queen, a being whose very presence dominates the space, rises from her ornate throne. Her 6 arms, each adorned with intricate jewelry, symbolizing centuries of lineage and conquest, stretch outward in a gesture that seems poised to crush not just the human, but the very idea of defiance itself. The queen's voice resonates with both authority and challenge. Reverberating through the crystalline spires and polished obsidian floors, do you understand the consequences of denying us? You humiliate my family. You insult the empire. You, she begins, her words a cascade of admonishment that threatens the fragile calm of the human. In the Xylarian worldview, refusal of a royal marriage is tantamount to rebellion. Such an act disrupts centuries of tradition, hierarchy, and diplomacy. To them, humans are primitive beings whose submission is expected and whose defiance is inconceivable. Yet, the human interrupts with unwavering composure. I understand everything, he says, his voice calm but resolute. And yet I cannot compromise on what is right. This declaration is a pivotal moment. It reinforces the story's HFY theme that human strength lies not in physical dominance or advanced technology, but in moral clarity and an unshakable commitment to principles. Unlike the Xylarians, whose concept of strength is rooted in coercion, hierarchy, and fear, the human exemplifies a kind of courage that is alien to the Queen's Courta, courage born from integrity and self-respect. The courtiers, many of whom have never witnessed such boldness in their queen's presence, shift uneasily. Whispers ripple through the hall. Some speculate that the human is foolish, others that he is fearless. The ambiguity fuels the tension, emphasizing the unpredictability of humans and their refusal to conform to conventional measures of power. The audience, by extension, begins to understand a fundamental HFY principle. Humans defy expectations and challenge assumptions through intellect, adaptability, and moral courage. Recognizing the human's defiance as a serious affront, the queen decides that words alone are insufficient. She declares a trial, a test designed to measure the human's worthiness against the standards of Xylarian power. You will face a trial, a test of worthiness. Should you fail, your refusal will cost your people dearly, she commands, her eyes glowing with a mixture of fury and curiosity. The trial represents both a physical and symbolic challenge. It is a means for the Xylarians to reassert control while also testing the limits of human resilience. A crystalline platform rises from beneath the throne, shimmering with energy and engraved with alien runes that hum with power. Upon it appear artifacts and mechanisms of the Xylarian trials, mechanical guardians, intricate energy traps, and complex puzzles designed to test intelligence, agility, and courage. This setting is more than a battlefield. It is a reflection of the Xylarian belief in structured, hierarchical assessment of value. The trial is their way of translating abstract concepts of worthiness into tangible tests, and it is intended to be insurmountable for a human. The human steps onto the platform with measured confidence. His calm demeanor contrasts sharply with the crackling energy and the looming threats of alien constructs. I do not seek to conquer, only to demonstrate that humanity's strength is not in subjugation, but in resilience. Let your trial begin, he says. These words reinforce the core HFY theme. Humanity does not need to dominate through fear or technology to be formidable. Their strength lies in adaptability, creativity, and an indomitable will. By framing his participation as a demonstration rather than a competition, the human immediately shifts the narrative. He is not playing by the Xylarians' rules. He is redefining the rules entirely. Part 2 ends with the stage set for the trial. The human has accepted the challenge, but on his own terms. The queen, the courtiers, and the entire Xylarian empire are now faced with a reality they did not anticipate. A species that measures strength differently, that values principles over power, and that refuses to bow to coercion. The tension is palpable, the stakes are monumental, and the audience is left anticipating how human ingenuity and moral courage will confront the alien. Constructs designed to break him, This section emphasizes that humans in the story are not only physically capable, but also intellectually and morally sophisticated. Introducing the central HFY motif that humanity's unpredictability and ethical resolve are as dangerous and awe-inspiring as any weapon or alien power. The trial begins as soon as the human steps onto the crystalline platform, the energy beneath his feet humming with alien power. Unlike humans, the Xylarians have long relied on physical superiority, advanced technology, and psionic abilities to assert dominance. Their trials are designed to exploit fear, weakness, and submission. The hall transforms into a labyrinth of challenges, constructed to test different aspects of the human's worth: agility, intelligence, courage, and adaptability. Every corner of the platform seems alive with potential danger, from mechanical guardians that move with inhuman speed to psychic constructs that attempt to invade the mind. From the moment he engages with the trial, it is evident that the human is not simply surviving. He is analyzing, adapting, and predicting. When a guardian swings a massive arm, designed to crush anything in its path, the human doesn't merely dodge. He calculates the guardian's momentum and uses it against itself. Leveraging the alien machine's own power to create an opening, this moment demonstrates a key HFY trait. Humans can succeed not because they are physically superior in alien terms, but because they can think creatively and adapt quickly under pressure. Unlike the Xylarians, whose solutions rely on pre-existing dominance, humans improvise in real time. The trial intensifies as psychic traps emerge, attempting to manipulate perception, inject fear, or bend the human's mind into submission. In these moments, he closes his eyes, centers himself, and draws on memories of his home, his people, and the principles that guide humanity. These mental anchors act as shields against the alien psychic constructs, a concept the Xylarians find both confusing and unsettling. It is not raw power or psionic skill that allows him to endure it, is mental resilience, emotional stability, and clarity of purpose. The story emphasizes that human strength is holistic, mind, body, and spirit working in concert, rather than reliance on a single form of dominance. As the trial progresses, the platform shifts, transforming into different environments designed to disorient and intimidate. Some sections feature jagged crystal corridors where the walls seem to close in. Others generate simulated gravitational anomalies, testing the human's physical adaptability. He faces traps that require both precise timing and strategic thinking, from shifting platforms to energy mazes that respond unpredictably. Each challenge is meant to break him physically, mentally, and emotionally. Yet, he advances steadily, turning every obstacle into an advantage. The Xylarian courtiers watch in growing disbelief. They have never seen a human confront danger without panic or hesitation. Unlike the aliens who would react according to programmed combat instincts or rely on brute force, the human continuously evaluates his environment, anticipates threats, and acts with deliberate precision. Every movement, every decision, is a demonstration of a species capable of thriving under conditions the Xylarians consider insurmountable. This reinforces the HFY theme. Humanity's strength lies not in domination or intimidation, but in ingenuity, adaptability, and unflinching courage. A particularly dramatic moment occurs when the final construct of the trial confronts him. It is an enormous energy sentinel, pulsating with alien power, programmed to demand submission as the only means of survival. The human faces it, squarely unarmed, unshielded, and undeterred. The sentinel strikes with force meant to crush him instantly, yet he doesn't flinch in fear. Instead, he studies the patterns, identifies vulnerabilities, and exploits them with precise timing. He dismantles the threat, not by superior power, but by observation, patience, and cunning. His victory is not violent. Dominance it is intelligent problem-solving under extreme pressure. By the time the trial concludes, the human is bruised and fatigued. Yet his posture remains upright, his eyes steady. The hall is silent. Even the queen, accustomed to absolute control, finds herself studying him with a mixture of astonishment and disbelief. The courtiers whisper among themselves, recognizing that this human embodies a type of power entirely foreign to their understanding. He has not merely survived. He has challenged the foundation of Xylarian belief that strength is derived from coercion, hierarchy, or innate superiority. Part 3 illustrates a central HFY motif. Humanity's true power is not always obvious, and it cannot be measured by alien standards. The human does not dominate through fear or physical prowess, but demonstrates resilience, intelligence, and moral fortitude. Each challenge of the trial is an opportunity to show that humans thrive by thinking independently, remaining principled under pressure, and turning disadvantages into advantages. The part ends with the human at the center of the platform. Battered but undefeated, ready for the Queen's verdict. He has proven that even in a system designed to break him, human ingenuity and courage can prevail, leaving the audience in awe of the species' unpredictable, adaptive, and indomitable nature. This sets the stage for Part 4, where the consequences of his success begin to ripple through the Xylarian court, and the Queen herself must confront the implications of his triumph after surviving the trial. The human stands at the center of the crystalline platform, his body battered, his clothes torn, yet his posture unwavering. The energy of the platform hums around him, signaling the end of the tests, but the tension in the hall is far from dissipated. The courtiers and advisors of the Xylarian Queen remain silent, their disbelief palpable. They had watched a being they considered primitive navigate challenges designed to test not only strength and skill, but also fear, obedience, and submission challenges. No Xylarian could imagine a human surviving without extraordinary innate abilities. Yet here he stands, alive, unbroken, and completely uncompromising. The Queen rises from her throne, her multi-jointed arms extended as if to reclaim control over the narrative of the court. The luminescence in her eyes flickers with a combination of awe, fury, and disbelief. In Xylarian culture, a ruler's judgment is absolute, and failure to compel submission is a personal humiliation. Traditionally, any refusal to comply with the authority of the throne would be met with severe punishment. Her entire empire relies on hierarchy and obedience. And yet, despite the human's success in surviving the trial, there is no bow, no plea, and no concession. "You have survived," the Queen says, her voice echoing with power, yet tinged with incredulity. But survival alone does not grant victory. These words are significant. They revealed that the Queen is grappling with a concept entirely foreign to her, strength that does not rely on domination. To her, true power has always been about imposing will, compelling obedience, and demonstrating superiority through physical, technological, or psychic dominance. The human challenges every assumption she has held about what it means to be strong. The human meets her gaze calmly. "I did not fight to conquer you. I fought to show you that coercion is meaningless, where respect and choice exist. Strength is not the ability to dominate, it is the courage to uphold what is right," he declares. This statement crystallizes the HFY theme of the story. Human strength is defined not by sheer power or advanced technology, but by moral integrity, resilience, and intellectual adaptability. Humans possess a type of power that cannot be easily measured, predicted, or contained by traditional metrics of dominance. A profound silence settles over the hall. The courtiers, many of whom have devoted their lives to understanding the principles of authority and control, murmur among themselves, attempting to process the implications. They realize that the human has not merely survived a trial. It's meant to break him. He has redefined the very meaning of strength within the Xylarian worldview. Some whisper that humans are unpredictable, capable of resilience and ingenuity that defy logic and expectation. Others, more cautious, fear what this means for the balance of power across the galaxy. The Queen's expression softens as she approaches the human. Her steps are measured, her previous anger replaced by a dawning realization. "Your words. They challenge everything we know," she admits quietly, almost as if speaking them aloud allows her to process the impossibility of the situation. She is confronted with a species that does not fit into the rigid structures of hierarchy she has spent centuries perfecting. Humans are ungovernable in a sense that terrifies and fascinates her simultaneously. The human inclines his head slightly, showing respect, but not submission. We are strong because we choose our own paths, and we respect the same in others, he explains. Here, the story emphasizes another central HFY motif. Humans value freedom, choice, and moral principle. Their strength derives from their ability to act according to these principles, even when faced with overwhelming odds. This moral and intellectual independence is alien to the Xylarians, who equate power with compliance and fear. Princess Lyria, the daughter whose hand in marriage was the original point of conflict, observes silently from the side. Her expression shifts from curiosity to admiration as she sees the human's courage and unwavering adherence to his principles. This moment is important because it underscores the human's influence not through force, but through character and moral authority. By the end of Part 4, the Queen is forced to acknowledge that this human has not only survived, but fundamentally challenged the Xylarian perception of strength and authority. The climax of the story arrives with a moment that is both symbolic and literal: the Xylarian throne, long considered an unbreakable seat of power, begins to tremble under the weight of the human's moral and intellectual defiance. The throne hall, previously dominated by the authority and opulence of the alien queen, is now suffused with tension, awe, and an unfamiliar uncertainty. The audience, the courtiers, advisors, and guards witness the impossible. A human, unarmed, and far less physically imposing, has demonstrated a kind of strength that no Xylarian force, technology, or tradition can fully contain or understand. The throne itself, constructed of reinforced crystal and imbued with centuries of Xylarian ceremonial energy, seems to respond to the atmosphere of the hall. In Xylarian culture, the throne reflects the will and dominance of its ruler. When the ruler is confident and in control, it radiates stability and authority. But now, for the first time, it vibrates and shatters, signaling the queen's internal conflict. The human has not struck it with weapons or brute force. Instead, he has done so with the power of principle, courage, and reason. This moment represents the ultimate HFY motif. Humanity's influence is not always direct, but its impact is profound, reshaping even the most rigid systems through the demonstration of integrity and resilience. The Queen, whose authority has always been absolute, now stands in quiet astonishment. Her 6 arms, previously a symbol of her control and might, hang at her sides as she processes what has just occurred. "You have shattered my throne," she admits, her voice barely above a whisper, carrying both awe and disbelief. She acknowledges not only the human survival of the trial, but also the deeper implications. A species that refuses coercion, upholds moral principles, defies expectation represents a type of power that cannot be measured through traditional Xylarian metrics. The Queen's admission is pivotal. It signifies a shift from fear-based authority to recognition of humanity's unique form of strength. The human steps forward, calm and deliberate. He does not seek to exploit the Queen's moment of vulnerability, nor does he attempt to assert dominance over her. Instead, he offers an olive branch, suggesting a path forward that is based on mutual respect rather than coercion. Then perhaps a new alliance can be built, not on coercion, but on choice. Not on fear, but on respect, he states. This is an essential HFY moment. Humanity's power lies in its ability to redefine relationships, challenge oppressive norms, and establish influence through moral clarity rather than violence or intimidation. The story emphasizes that the human's defiance is constructive rather than destructive, providing an alternative model for power that resonates with both humans and the alien observers. Princess Lyria, who had been a central figure in the conflict but largely silent throughout the trial, now steps forward. Her expression conveys admiration, curiosity, and the beginnings of trust. Unlike the Queen, who has been trained to equate strength with submission and hierarchy, the princess witnesses firsthand the human's integrity, courage, and ingenuity. Her reaction signals the transformative impact humans can have on other species, not through conquest, but through example. She represents the bridge between the alien world and humanity, and her acceptance underscores the story's theme of moral influence surpassing conventional power. The courtiers, initially rigid and fearful, begin to murmur among themselves. Some are awed by the humans' resilience, while others are unsettled by the realization that their empire's assumptions about dominance, obedience, and hierarchy have been fundamentally challenged. This reaction reinforces the HFY theme that humans are unpredictable and cannot be easily categorized or controlled. Their ingenuity, moral courage, and willingness to stand by principles under extreme pressure make them formidable in ways that traditional metrics of strength cannot account for by the end of the story. The throne hall has been transformed, not physically destroyed, but conceptually shattered. The queen, her courtiers, and the empire itself are forced to acknowledge that human strength is unique, unpredictable, and morally grounded. The human has refused the daughter of an empire, survived a trial meant to break him, and demonstrated a model of power and influence that transcends physicality, coercion, or hierarchical dominance. This moment cements the HFY principle. Humans, though underestimated, possess a combination of courage, intelligence, adaptability, and moral clarity that can challenge even the most dominant civilizations. In conclusion, Part 5 delivers a powerful and symbolic resolution. The human's refusal, perseverance, and moral courage, literally and figuratively, shake the Xylarian throne, transforming the court's understanding of power. Through his actions, the story emphasizes that humanity's greatest strength lies not in weapons or technology, but in its principles, adaptability, and the courage to stand unyielding in the face of impossible odds. The throne shattering is a metaphor for the disruption of old paradigms, illustrating that humanity can reshape the galaxy not by force, but by embodying a form of strength that is as unpredictable as it is profound.